Stream Elements said. Carbon Dobbs is now live streaming makers crafting time to relax and get some painting done. Team B42 Empire.
Don't buy any unripe bananas yet, because you won't live to eat them, yeah?
Hello, sir. How are you, sir? Would you like to launch with me, sir? You, sir. Launching, sir. Oh boy. I can feel it, Mr. Krabs. Oh, I already asked that. I don't tell. I just reset my brain. But oh boy. I had just got done finishing up a Sims build. Do you remember that? Well, what the fuck? You remember that little micro neighborhood that I built? I built the person who owns that house or a trailer, and then I put a laundromat, and then I put a pool. What are you getting ready to do? was watching Doctor Who at work today. I think that's going to be my current watch. Like every time I watch YouTube and I come across like a clip for an episode, I'm going to then pause, watch the episode, and be like, okay. Because like as long as it's not like 14 and 15, I can watch it on my phone. While I'm at my desk. Yeah.
extreme elements.
All right, would anyone care to
Said.
explain?
Someone explain this.
Oh, I'm extremely sorry about that, folks. How are we all doing? Welcome back. It is me, your host, Carbon Dobbs, and we're back with some more painting. That's what's going on. I, again, really do apologize. I was on the phone, had to make a very important phone call to my wife. Thank you for that lurk. As always, your big support to the channel, and I hope everybody's doing well. And YouTube, it's been a hot minute since I've shown my face here. How y'all doing? But yeah, let's get crack-a-lackin'. A lot to do yet still. Whew. My god, that thing is strong. So get the stuff yesterday. Difficult waste, I guess. At this point, I do need to move the head first one. That's the toss. We're gonna get that one. This was two. Head.
Yeah, man.
Hey, Boros.
What are you up to?
Getting more paint work done.
Excellent.
Went for a nice long ride today, too.
Alright, alright.
Hit top speed on the bike.
Alright. It was decent weather outside.
Oh, nothing but clear blue skies all day today.
Beautiful.
I was just in a shit mood, and wife and I were talking while she was on a lunch break. She's just like, "Go for a ride." She's like, "Cause
You're like, alright.
she's like, 'Cause clearly right now, building and painting ain't doing dick all for you." She's like, "Go for a ride."
Take you for a ride on my small red bike. Is it red or black?
It's carbon black, actually,
Oh,
as in carbon fiber black, because that's
very
the paint
fitting
job.
of your name.
I know, right? And yes, I have named my bike as well.
Is it carbon blackish or some crap like that?
No, it's Little Crow.
Little Crow. That's neat.
I don't know. I topped out on 100 km today.
So,
Which is about 60-something freedom units for you.
Oh, okay, that's not bad, actually. I think you would enjoy going to traveling to and from my base and going to work, because the speed limit out there going to the base is like 60 miles per hour, and then if you go a little bit further up the road past the base, you get like highway speeds of like 75 miles per hour.
I can't take the e-bike on highways here.
Unfortunately.
Highways here hit 110 and higher, and my bike doesn't go that fast.
It's electric. That's right. Can't go nearly as high as you want.
Well, there are electric bikes out there.
But your CC units aren't that big or that strong yet.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I saw a couple of videos of esports bikes, like full, like they not non-pedal assisted. Oh.
You're like, let me just.
I'll say this right now: the whine off of them sounds like a fucking turbo, like on a car. And Jesus Christ, the torque on these, like I've seen them on the racetrack, like videos on the racetrack with these things, and they're fucking quick. One was sitting on a dyno test, and it hit 250 something miles an hour. Yeah.
Alright.
Hey, Casey.
Where y'all up to?
Chilling, painting, and feeling extremely happy with the fact that I finally put Little Crow to the limits today, so I'm happy.
Nice. I took my Jixer to the limits, and I will never go back.
Oh.
I was out on one of an old farmer's road, essentially. It's one of the oldest roads in town that's still used frequently. And speeds for that road are about 80 to 100 in certain spots, and well, I didn't let go of my throttle.
So, if I don't let go of my throttle in about a mile stretch, in the metric system, I will be going 268.76 kilometers an hour.
That's a good way to shake your pants.
Yeah, thank God for my cousin, who is a deputy sheriff, who shut down the road to let me test that bike.
Why is this road closed? That's why.
It's okay. When I get my CF moto, I'm just gonna call up one of my uncles who happens to be the police officer. Not exactly gonna mention which district or which province, because Anyways, they're like, "Hey, so I just got this, and I want to stretch your ponies.
So
Help your nephew out."
Question, Dobbs. Do
Answer.
you all have emissions up there?
Yeah, we have emissions.
Fuck. Because I guarantee that CF Moto will have to have emissions done on it.
Oh, there's a dealership in Canada that has them.
No, I know that. I'm just saying what I was about to suggest to get every bit of power out of the CF Moto, because it'll add, I think it was like
Yeah,
5 or
you.
6
I was gonna say
horsepower,
you and I
which
were talking was to swap out the exhaust on it.
yeah, you can do a cat back on it, but I was thinking header back on the bike. Get rid of the cats.
Mhm.
But then
Because then
like,
when I get the CF Moto, there's gonna be Little Crow and then Big Crow.
and they make the CF Moto in black red with.
I know, that's the one I
Black.
want. That's the one I want. And there's
Yeah.
there's a few spots on it that are carbon fiber as well.
Right now, my Gixxer is black and white.
Oh,
Let's see here, do it.
did you like my video that I just posted on TikTok?
I did. That I did, my friend.
When your wife catches you being stupid on your bike.
But were you actually being stupid?
I was fucking around with my lights. Going from high beam to low beam.
It was a safety test. It's fine.
Yeah.
I had to make sure my lights worked.
Exactly.
100%. Yeah.
So I get to reverse engineer something for my little brother without actually seeing the product in person.
Oh?
Just from schematics.
Oh, and also thank you for telling me how to pop that seal back in my fork.
Not a problem. You know, I don't want to see you in the boat that I'm in where I have to have both my front forks rebuilt.
Yeah, I'd rather not. Like I said, I honestly think it happened. It popped out when I cased it. That's the only thing I can think of.
Probably, and my one piece of advice would be to invest in a set of bike jacks. Or bike stands.
Yep, I've been looking into grabbing one of them.
There you go, Dobbs. There's my bike. I just posted it in chat here.
I was gonna say, I've seen your bike. I want your bike.
That bike is absolutely insane. It makes sense now why it was the fastest 600 in 2005.
I will stand by the statement. There's only one bike that scares the shit out of me, and I will never own one and or get on it myself and ride it.
What's that?
A fucking Hayabusa.
They're speed governed. You're fine.
All it takes is a friend of mine having one and knowing where the govern is.
Well, it is speed governed via the ECM, so you would have to have somebody reprogram the ECM to be able to go past that, which it's capable of. But Suzuki was like, yeah, we're locking the speed on this because this thing is like...
We know what this thing can do.
Exactly. The first generation was capable of going like 205 miles an hour or something like that.
Yeah, that was right off the fucking factory floor.
Exactly. And then they were like, yeah, this is not smart.
No, because they knew that some idiot would grab it as their first fucking bike. And I don't think they make them anything lower than 1,000 cc.
Well, the Hayabusa is only a 1300.
Okay, so it's over 1,000 cc. Noted.
You technically have the GSX-R 600, the GSX-R 750, the GSX-R 1000, and then the GSX-R 1300 Hayabusa.
That Hayabusa that thing scares me.
Oh, little fun fact about the Hayabusa. Do you know why it was named that?
I'm listening.
The CBR 1100X was known as the Blackbird. What hunts blackbirds? Hayabusas, also known as a peregrine falcon.
Noted.
So, the Hayabusa was made
14.
directly to basically say, give a middle finger to Honda and say, we've got something better.
Get fucked, nerd.
Exactly. And it's sad that I know this, but I'm a bit of a Suzuki fanboy. Don't get me wrong. My first bike was a Honda. And God, was that Honda wicked fast. But
I still want to get a fucking Ducati, but after you telling me what the issues were with those things, I don't want one.
the biggest issue is the timing belts on them.
Honestly, whenever I hear like Ducati and stuff like that, I think of it more in terms of like an exotic, car where it looks cool, but the maintenance is a bitch.
Yeah.
Yes.
See, I for me, I like the crotch rockets, but with the exposed inner skeletal structure of it. You know what I mean?
So, I would recommend, they call them naked bikes. They are the exact same thing as a sport bike, but without fairings and made to look better without them.
Dude, my dad actually had like a few of those pocket bikes growing up, and he's like, "Hey, you want to ride one of these?" I'm like, "Sure." There's like an open field where like my what's it called, elementary school was, and I would just ride it out there, and damn was it fun. But I was like, this thing is pointless because I would rather just be riding a bike instead. It's more functional.
My first bike was my first street legal bike, I should say, because I've had other motorcycles before, but my first street legal one was a 2003 Honda CBR 954 R Fireblade, which anyone who knows anything about Honda motorcycles knows that the Fireblade is like the top tier creme de la creme bike.
I would have preferred you told me that in English, but I get that.
That was English, but that's just biker English. Trust me, even I'm still learning. It's a new language for me.
So
Thanks for the tip, Casey.
You're welcome, Dobbs.
I've been riding for a month, seeing random like every now and then getting waved at riders with them going like that to me.
And then you're just like, hi.
Yeah, waving like an idiot. And then you tell me, yeah, that's them telling you hi.
Yeah. I should have told you, but rite of passage, my friend. Rite of passage.
You know what? The more you know.
Yeah.
All right.
Now, that being said, today when I was on my adventures on the bike, I came across another sports biker, opposite lane coming my way. He nods at me. I flash the hand gesture. He giggles. He's like, "You get it." I'm honestly certain that that's been the same rider that flashes me the symbol almost every time I've seen him. But I just can't be certain because like every time I've seen the guy, he's been on a different fucking bike. I think today he was on a Yamaha.
Oh, I feel so proud, Dobbs.
What, the biker culture, the bike culture is accepting me being on an e-bike?
Well, you starting to actually acclimate to bike culture.
To be fair, the day the e-bike got into the freaking driveway of my complex, my TikTok feed has been nothing but bike talk.
Welcome to Bike Talk, my friend.
Dude, I fucking love it. It is hilarious, but I see some stupid shit and I'm just like, you're an idiot.
Well, I mean, welcome to Bike Talk.
Like, I've seen guys do wheelies and shit and being reckless on, like, major highways in traffic. I'm like, you're the reason why we get fucked.
Well,
And I can't even really include myself as we because, like,
that's why I don't ride with people, Dobbs.
I want to ride with people, but if I see somebody doing that, I'm gonna be like, yeah, nah.
What the fuck?
Your TikTok just sent me a notification about the so in retrospect message that you sent, like right around 9 o'clock.
The hell?
Yeah, it's been doing weird shit like that.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I do when I go through. I've done it in line before. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. It just depends.
How's your night going, grinding?
Yeah.
I'm still trying to decide what to use my,
Yeah.
I guess, credits on Temu for. Had an order not show up, Dobbs.
Ooh.
It got to the U.S., got sent to USPS, and then just miraculously disappeared.
That sucks.
So
I'm waiting on a phone case. It actually just got its fucking flight departure today from wherever it was coming from. I'm just like, I ordered that on the 26th.
Ugh.
I'm wondering now, like, Team is gonna start struggling with orders and stuff because of how popular it's getting.
I don't think that it's going to struggle. I think the big thing that's going on right now is, like for the U.S. for a prime
Well, yeah,
example,
the natural disasters, yeah.
well, the natural disasters, the port
The str-
workers being on
Yep.
strike.
Yep.
They've diverted that till January 15th now.
Yeah, but
And that doesn't going to change the fact that it's still going to be stupid.
Well,
they're going to work slower until they get what they want.
Somebody was saying how much, which is just, that just encourages them to automate the process. And somebody was saying how much they make, and it's ridiculously high amounts.
They can make up to $200,000 a year with overtime.
Yeah, but also gentlemen, keep in mind that yes, they are the backbone of the countries for shipping of goods and services. Yes, 100%. They also get treated like absolute shit despite the pay. Keep that in mind.
I was gonna say, I worked at the ports in outside of Savannah, Georgia, for like a week. It was like a little part-time thing, and those guys are treated like fucking royalty there.
It's not always the case, but in general, though, it is a trade job. It is very taxing on you, and therefore it will destroy your body after a certain point. So
smiles in restaurant work.
Well, okay. How do I describe this? It's like being air traffic control. Air traffic control has a mandatory retirement age here in the U.S. Like there's like a maximum age you can sign up to be a air traffic controller, and a maximum age where you are forced retired. Right? Like, I think it's like 28, 29 years old is like the latest you can potentially sign up to get air traffic control, and then you are forced retired at like 56.
Well, yeah, because ATC is like the most stressful job in the fucking planet.
Well, it's not even that. It's the fact
next to being a stock marketer.
In your 50s, your cognitive responses start slowing down. You have to be sharp when you're doing air traffic control.
It is, generally speaking, a difficult job to have. And any trade job will be like that, where you can make a shit ton of money, but you also have to be very adamant and understanding that you have a finite time frame in order for you to do things. And shipment, cargo, and everything else is very taxing and demanding. Like, the only way you're able to make it work is if you become like a captain of like a ship or something like that, or you had your own business. There's no other option realistically.
Well, I mean, mostly at the ports they use cranes and forklifts. Well, like big skid loaders and stuff. Mm-hmm. The only people that are on the ground are like ground guides and stuff. But it would get taxing to, 8, 12-hour day, swinging a crane around, making sure you're not going to hit anything.
Which is the only reason why it's probably better to automate that. And I understand people are like, but they're threatening my job. I'm like, yeah, but the problem being is that if you fuck up, your ass is grass and they're going to mow it. But if an automated system screws up, that's a fault of the programming, not on the human. There's a difference.
No, because they'll find a way to blame it on IT, and you don't fuck with IT. Tell me I'm wrong.
You're not wrong.
That's so much fun.
However, though, if they find a fault in the system's programs,
Yeah, I know.
they can 100% sue the living fuck out of the IT.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
But we all know this. It doesn't matter what job detail you work in, you don't fuck with IT. You'll get a black eye and you won't even know it.
I know in the military there's 3 people that you don't fuck with. The cooks, maintenance guys, and supply.
Yep. You fuck with the cooks, you get shitty food. You fuck with maintenance, you ain't getting your vehicles. You fuck with supply, well, you ain't getting your supplies. At least not on time.
There's a 4th one you forgot to add to that, my guy.
Oh?
Security forces.
Which one?
No,
security forces, but
you don't fuck with them though because they can also make your life hell on base. If they find the make and model and know your car, they will fuck with you the entire time.
I was the only guy on Fort Stewart with the 77 Trans Am that drove around. I pissed off a lot of MPs.
Oh yeah.
And that just comes from the fact that I was an 11 Bravo at one point. I'm gonna fuck with them.
Hell yeah, brother.
See, I never really had that problem.
I never really had a problem. I just fucked with them.
Nobody ever really messed with me too much because I was the supply guy.
See, like I said, you don't fuck with the supply guy. If anything, you get in good with them. You give them hoagie bake and stuff, and you send them on their way.
I'll say this right now. My dad wasn't a high-ranking man in the military as maintenance mechanic. But nobody fucked with the man.
As one should.
I'm sorry. Can I get a Whopper with cheese, please?
And the pickle?
Your mic's doing that thing again, Case.
Where's the fucking cone?
Wrapped around one of your animal's necks to prevent them from biting at their sutures.
Wrong cone.
It's
No, I'm trying to figure out. I'm trying to fix the problem in the file for that gym gun. And
I'm sorry.
Coming up. I like yours better. At least it's easier to find. This one's starting to piss me off.
Oh shit!
Why are you putting it? I'm working in the main body and it keeps dropping the motherfucker into the lower assembly. No wonder I didn't see it.
Dude, your mic is cutting out hard.
Are we playing like old Halo?
I can barely hear you.
So what is the?
There we go. Testicles, 1 2 1 2.
Okay, can you hear me now?
There we go. Verizon Wireless.
Not Verizon Wireless, Windstream.
Ah.
Even worse.
Yeah. But yeah, I forgot there are only 4 people in the army that you don't fuck with. I failed to mention literally the most important one that can make your life a living hell because nobody can leave until all of them are up. And Grinding knows exactly who I'm talking about.
I'm having
The
flashbacks.
armor.
I don't like it. Yeah, I was that. I was him and the supply guy.
I'm having flashbacks and I don't like it.
I was the armorer.
I was the armorer and the supply guy.
So you know the term the armorer's pinky.
Yep.
I'm going to find Carbon anywhere with just my pinky, I promise you, you're going to hate your life.
Wait, what?
So
Not
in
you.
the M4, we have what's called a star chamber.
Hold on. You said that. Carbon's like, what? I was like, he's not sticking his pinky in you, Carbon. It's fine. Hold on.
No.
I need an adult.
We're completely fucking out.
On the M4, the biggest spot that is overlooked that is never cleaned properly is what they call the star chamber.
Yep.
It's literally where the bolt slides in and locks in to keep the round in place.
Gosh.
I could take my pinky and curl it into the ejection port and run it around the star chamber, and I promise you, 9 times out of 10, I was pulling carbon out.
Hence my statement. Wait, what?
Yeah.
When he said, I already knew what you were thinking. I was like, shit, here we go.
I'm gonna get turned into a puppet. I don't like this. I'm gonna become one of Jeff Dunham's fucking.
You got a purty mouth. I'm gonna make you squeal like a piggy.
Make your daddy talk. Come here, Papa boy.
Jesus Christ.
He's not gonna help us.
No, we are beyond saving.
So the other day, my neighbors had to deal with Jehovah's Witnesses in the morning. Okay. So
Please tell me they made the mistake of showing up at your house.
no, they don't come to my door anymore,
Oh, good.
and I'll explain that in a minute. So a lot of the reason why they didn't come knock on my door, outside of the next thing I will explain, my Halloween decorations were still inflated from the night before. I thought I had turned them off, but they were still inflated. And then my wife tells me that she turned them on that morning. So I was like, okay, whatever. Now, our front yard is starting to look like Halloween Town. And by Halloween Town, I mean we have a inflatable Oogie Boogie. May he rest in peace, because we just recently lost him. We also have an inflatable Jack Skellington and Zero as well. So I turn those off. My hair is over my face, and I'm wearing my black waifu shirt that's relatively demonic, and it says "Make Faces." You guys have seen it, I'm sure.
Yeah.
So I walk outside. I've got my hair over my face, and I'm cranky. They just look at me. I kind of glance at them, start sipping my coffee, light up my smoke. I go on my day. Now, the reason why they don't show up at my door anymore. The reason is because of what's around my neck. It's my Mjolnir. The last time they knocked on my door, they asked me if they could talk to me about, their stuff, and I'm just like, I'm sorry, but you folks are barking up the wrong tree. They're like, what do you mean? I was like, I'm Norse pagan. They're like, what's that? I was like, the older gods. I just looked at her. I was like, without making you run and scream for the hills, it is the older gods, Loki, Odin. And I just proceeded. They're like, oh, you mean the Marvel superheroes? I was like, no, vastly much older than them. I was like,
You know what the worst part about that is? I think I've told you this before, Dobbs. I had to explain to my wife why that wasn't accurate. Because for some reason she had it in her head that that's the way it was. And I was like, honey, I love you, but no. And I had to explain to her that, it was around before Marvel was a thing. And she was like, really? And she goes, well, why don't they just tell the real story? And I'm like, because they don't want to explain to everybody that Loki would screw anything left, right, and center.
I mean...
It's not very Disney friendly.
Well, I mean, Deadpool's on Disney.
Yeah, true.
Yeah,
Now, well, it's changed a bit since they started that crusade.
Now.
But no, like I had it, like I had explained to them. I was just like, look, guys, I'm sorry, but you're barking up the wrong tree. I was like, I respect your guys' faith. However, that being said, I was like, Christianity and Jehovah's Witness is not for me, nor is it for my family.
But
There's
like,
also
Jehovah's Witness isn't for anybody.
And I even added in, I was like, my family may be Christian, have their own Christian faith. I was like, but I am no Christian, not by any means.
there's also just simply the fact that Norse pagan is very much a religion that somewhat predates Christianity and alludes to so many things in it. But you talk to a Christian, they're just like, yeah, but our God came first. And you're just like, oh dear sweet Christ, help me.
Oh, honey. Oh, bless your heart.
I still find it funny when the Mormons tried to come up to my house.
But no, that is why they don't show up at my door anymore.
I
am what you would like to call, as they would like to call, a heathen.
I was about to say, I've had to have this conversation with my, I don't know what you'd call her, she's my wife's grandmother, but only like the third or fourth one that her grandfather married within the same family, so we don't know if it's actually her grandmother. Every year he just upgraded to the younger model. Wish we were joking. That's the most sincere way to describe it. I said it once and pissed off the whole family.
Yeah, but here's the thing. I don't think they saw it as a joke, and to be fair with you, it's more of calling a fact, if anything.
Doesn't say that's some Sweet Home Alabama shit. If
Nah, man, that's some Leonardo DiCaprio shit.
No,
well, the weird part was the family was so okay with it that they just were like, yeah, it's fine. You can marry our other daughter. And I'm like, how much did they like this man? Because I met him once and I hated him.
But that creates brother cousins, which is weird, or sister cousins, which is just as weird.
Makes it really hard to solve some murders.
If you hear banjos on the highway, you've traveled too far.
Hey,
you're probably in my neck of the woods.
As I say, you're in Eastern Kentucky at that point, my friend.
Actually, you're probably not hearing him.
No, if I'm trying to find your neck of the woods, Casey, I'm just gonna listen for the gunfire.
You're not gonna hear my neck of the woods. They all got washed down river.
This is valid.
Well, I mean, if you come to my neck of the woods, good luck with the tweakers.
Funny part is, when I pulled into work this morning, I saw a tweaker mobile.
Oh my god!
I was like, wait, it was like sitting with the other motorcycles. I'm like, what the fuck? It's back?
So, there's a guy trying to put a small block Chevy on a lawnmower here after seeing it on TikTok.
Oh god.
Speaking of people, I just remembered this, and I can't believe I haven't fucking told you guys yet. But I think it was like middle of this week, or like earlier this week, or early last week. Came out of the chimneys, and somebody was sitting on my bike.
Oh, time to throw hands.
Oh. I was not impressed.
That is a throw all the hands.
I immediately hit the alarm. I immediately hit the panic button, which scared the crap out of him. And he sees me standing there, and I'm breathing heavily. He was like, "Is this yours?" I was like, "Yes. Please get off of it." I was like, "I'm going to be very nice to you right now. I'm only going to give you a verbal warning. Get off my bike and don't ever sit on somebody else's bike that you don't know." I was like, because I'm going to save your life now. Because if the wrong person had come out and you were sitting on their bike, you'd be taking the trip to the hospital. I was like, please get off my bike.
So how many of us here are car guys?
Yay.
So you know about the Terminator 4.6 Cobra motor. This guy has a 4.6 4-valve Terminator Cobra motor that was swapped into a 98 Cobra. It has 90,000 miles on it. Absolutely nothing wrong with it. Runs strong. He prefers the 2-valve over it. Which is like the 200 and I think it's like 265 horsepower version, while this one's like 325. And judging by the... Did I hear "damn it, I'm lost"?
I said I'm off. I'm trying to do some 3D modeling, and I'm way off in my cuts.
But yeah, so this engine is capable of 1,000 horsepower on the stock block. The 2-valve, even with a supercharger, the most I've seen them push is like 550.
Think it might have to do with control and handling?
They weigh practically the same.
Well, what about torque-wise?
I mean, I'll put it into perspective. I had a 2003 Mustang GT with a 5.4 liter Cobra R engine in it. By the way, you can look up videos. You can watch one chase down a Carrera GT. And I was able to handle it because the chassis are just... I'm not going to say they're refined, but with just control arms and coilovers, boom, problem solved. Like, I don't...
Oh.
A stock power level 5 or 4 8 or 4.6 4-valve is like mild, especially a naturally aspirated non-supercharged one.
Okay.
But for $900, like that guy's insane. Yeah, I'll trade this 4-valve for a 2-valve. Okay, let me go to a junkyard and pull a running 2-valve.
Right. Give it the spit shine special.
Exactly. I'll clean it up real nice and pretty. I'll even get him the ECU and all accessories.
Oh, you're being nice.
Shit, I can go for one ECU, all accessories for like $500 and have about a $4,000.
I swear to God, if my wife sent me more Facebook reels, man.
Speaking of sending people shit, Casey, you would appreciate the stuff I sent you in DMs.
Oh, I'm kind of peanut butter jealous because...
Did you like that Raptor video I sent?
Raptor video?
The US sending over the Raptor?
Oh, yeah. And that.
Well,
also,
no. Not the things that happened yesterday. The stuff I just sent you today.
Oh, let me check. Oh, I didn't know you sent anything. It never sent me a notification.
Yep. The first one you'll laugh at. The second one you'll grin and appreciate it.
So, I had a scary moment while riding tonight, Casey. I was rolling up.
Wait, whoa.
Yeah, and this has nothing to do with the deer that I almost hit a couple weeks back. So I'm rolling up to the stoplight, right? And I hear a loud plastic crunching sound.
Oh, Lord.
Yeah. So, I'm looking, like, I'm sitting on the bike, and I'm looking at the front, looking at the back. I was like, I don't see nothing. Look behind me, I was like, I don't see nothing. Pull around the corner, get off the bike. I was like, why the fuck did I hear a loud plasticky crunch? But I didn't get hit. Like, it was, dude, it scared the crap out of me. Because it felt like it came from my bike. Oh. So, the wife asked me last night. She's like, so, are you gonna take the bike to Dad's place for Thanksgiving? I looked her dead in the face. My only words were, I didn't know that was an option. I thought we were just gonna get picked up from Dad, like always. She's like, well, you tend to, like, leave early every year. She's like, figured you'd want to bring the bike. I was like, we'll see what the weather's like.
Okay, so the first one, Boros, that was this guy. However, a well-placed $20 bill would possibly get the slide through.
I love it. Or he's just like, is this supposed to be my bribe? some fruit snacks, and he realized I was 9 years old again. And is this a chocolate chip chewy bar? I haven't seen one of these since the defect. I can
I had
taste it.
forwarded that to grinding, since he was an armorer also.
What'd I do?
Everything.
I forwarded you a video that Boros sent me.
I'll take a look in a minute.
Oh, it's great. The
And
other
then the
one,
second one, that is just the sound of freedom, my friend.
I know. But it's
Oh,
beautiful freedom.
Yo.
So to print this thing that I'm working on, it's gonna take about 2 hours with a 0.2 m nozzle.
Nice.
To 3D print the next version of it, because it's gonna be printing 2 of them there. To 3D print the next version is gonna take 14 hours with the regular nozzle, but it's going to be human scaled. So I'm gonna be printing an SD Gundam gun in human scale for my nerd wall.
Do it.
I told my wife what I was planning, and she goes, "Are you gonna buy the right color filament first?" I'm like, "Hell yeah."
I need.
I'd look at her and go, honey, do you think I'm new?
I think I need like 20 kilograms of filament to do what I need to do, and it's gonna take me like 30 days worth of printing straight.
Oh, that Lambo?
What are you printing?
Oh, it's not even a full Lambo. It's just parts for the Lambo.
Oh, speaking of car stuff, guys, I think I told you about the problem with the SU or the van, right, Dobbs?
Yeah.
So it turns out it's worse than what I thought.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. So the transmission's absolutely fucked, which I was expecting. I spoke to the guys at the place, and they were like, "Look, this is how much it's going to cost. It's going to take us a few days to get it with this storm coming in and everything." I'm like, "Yeah, that's fine. I understand. Take your time." I'm like, "When it comes in, it comes in. I can't do anything about it until then."
Mm-hmm.
So I got the funding secured for that. But then I'm talking to them, and I secured extra because I just had this gut feeling. And I'm glad I did, because when I'm talking to them about it, they're like, "Yeah, that's fine. But you got one other major problem." And I'm thinking, the fucking loose nut behind the wheel. Specify. And they were like, "Well, with this type of vehicle, the transmission's cooling rather than running through the radiator, runs through the compressor or the condenser." I mean, and I'm just like, "Uh-oh." And they were like, "Yeah." And they're like, "And that's not a big deal. We can easily deal with that. However, your condenser's a little bit banged up. It's on the front of the car." And I'm like, "Okay." And then I realized it's because my wife takes the driveway too steep and hits the freaking concrete every so often.
Really? I would have thought that her taking it to the house would have been the...
No, that was the back end.
Oh, okay. Never mind.
She won't let me mess with the back end, but she'll fucking wreck it herself. Yeah, that was fucked up, sorry. So it's gonna cost me about a little bit around $6,500 to fix everything that's wrong with the engine, at least. And then I gotta work on that fucking loose nut behind the wheel before I start working on anything else.
Are you talking about the CB axle nut?
No, the wife.
That was good. That was fucking good.
What?
Wait.
Because I mean.
Oh no, yeah, I agree with you.
I'm still trying to figure out how, with all the damage she has done to this van,
how's it still operating?
No, how she still has a license.
Because none of it has been stuff where points get on her license. She backed into our own house, so that was just us dealing with that mess. She took out her own mirror on a light pole, or technically as a speaker pole, but whatever.
All right, so if I ever come to visit you, I need to know she's driving.
I try to make sure I'm the one driving whenever we go out. If you ever come to visit me, I'm gonna have you park at my parents and walk over. It's safer.
I don't know if it's much safer with your wife driving.
That's what I'm saying. It's safer. It's safer with the way my wife drives, just to park at my parents' house and walk over. I've
You
done
know
it
what?
before.
I
Fair.
don't know
That
if it's safer because he's walking at that point. Pedestrian
Yeah,
polo,
but-
my friends.
Now there's trees everywhere. He's safe.
yeah, I can play dodge. I can play dodge the car.
Well, trees.
I just gotta limber up first.
Thankfully, we're in the woods. Like, we are way out in the middle of nowhere.
Remember, Dobbs. Remember your Zombieland rules.
Double tap and
Limber up.
cardio.
Can't forget to limber up because cardio is not going to happen without limbering up.
Absolutely correct, sirs.
No, she I would say she drives like a bat out of hell, but even the bats get out of the fucking way.
I almost spat coffee everywhere.
Sorry. I love her to death. I swear I do.
Grinding,
but-
I love you in chat, bro.
I don't know why I didn't become.
I swear I
friends
do
with
love
Anya
her.
sooner.
Oh, grinding. Did you see the meme I posted in your Discord?
Not yet, possibly, maybe. Hold on, let me check real quick. I probably did because it looks like I'm up to date on everything, but let me make sure I'm right because I've been. Oh no, there's something in memes. Hold up. Yes, I seen that. How many days do you plan to ride your bike? Yeah, I saw that.
Yes. Odometer reads 394. That was last night, by the way. Today it now reads 415.
Dude, at this point, I'm afraid to go anywhere right now. Not because of the wife having her own car, but because with everything else that's going on around here and the stupidness that people are showing, I'm like, fuck, I don't want to go out. Y'all suck.
Yeah, I see the TP and the toilet paper and the paper towel ransacking round 2.
Yeah. Yeah.
Round
well, and the funny part
2.
is, like, everybody's panic buying this shit. I just bought a fucking case of toilet paper like a month ago. I'm good. And if the paper towels get that bad, I got rags. I'm good. I've done it before. I've already planned that if things go sideways tomorrow when I go grocery shopping, I'm just coming home and ordering the shit on Amazon. Might be easier.
So, my Dobbs, my wife asked me if I was gonna get the AE86 because she saw the video on TikTok. I'm like, yeah, let me just go pay $9,500 5 times so I can get 5 AE86 bodies. Because that's the minimum order.
I mean, find a couple of bros.
Yeah, but you also have to think of how much those are going to cost because it's probably going to cost me another $13,000 to $15,000 at least, if not more, to have them transported from overseas to here.
Yeah, and then import fees on top of that.
Well, see, we don't get import fees
Fuck you.
because technically those are just car parts. Those aren't cars.
All I can say is this. Fuck you.
Wait. Well, you know, there is a quicker way to get into the country without having to pay any fees.
How's that?
Just go visit Diddy's house, steal a bottle of oil. Someone's sure to have a cavity.
Oh my god.
That's a new one.
Oh shit.
That's a new one.
It's only better because you exhaust pipe.
Could you imagine having a brand new Panda Turano sitting in your driveway? And when I say brand new, I mean literally brand fucking new.
How'd you get through that? I had to go through a lot of shit.
It was a real slippery and shitty situation.
God.
What can I say? We slipped away. I couldn't just let it slip by.
Oh.
Somebody
Sure,
catch
big
me!
deal.
I can't.
How about right now?
I can't see. I can't stop sliding on these ones.
Some may say it might be a real pain in the ass for some people.
I mean, they do say you go into
Come in.
prison as an asshole, but you come out with manholes.
Oh no, where's the damn thing at? That's
But no,
weird.
I kind of want one just because it's an AE86. They're absolutely terrible
Where's the-
cars.
Fucking.
Like literally, I've driven one. They're slower than my Miata.
Okay, that's weird.
What's weird?
I'm working on this model and erased part of it for no reason. I'm not
But
sure
yeah,
what I
no.
did.
The AE86 is actually slower than a first generation Miata
I know.
by like 40 horsepower.
Yeah, but in the right hands, you can make that bitch sing.
I can tell you right now, most of them around here, they don't sing, they cry.
Yeah, it's because Honda owners drive them.
No, that's because most of them are sitting in fields rotting away.
Oh.
And people are trying to sell them for like 10 grand, and the body's not even safe to use.
Why are you blue?
Because if it was green, it would die.
It's something to do with this modeling software. I don't know what I did.
I know, but you didn't catch my reference.
I know, I caught you saying. I'm just confused. It's been a day. I need the world to take a break.
It's been a week.
It's been a month of a week, especially with this damn storm.
You're not lying, Grindin. Y'all had it a lot worse than I did, but
to be honest, over here it wasn't that bad. To us, like, we got a lot of rain, like where my house is, but because we'd already gone through the process of making the channels for the water, it wasn't as bad. We got rained in a little bit, like for a day we couldn't get out. But Asheville got fucked. Like I said, Asheville needs a bath before. They didn't need one that bad.
Like I said, when I didn't hear from you guys for a little while there, for like a few days, I was panicking, bros. I was like, all right, can I do I panic yet?
See, we were right into the storm. We got hit with 70+ mile an hour winds. We lost power for like 51 hours.
The school where I work at is what controls the power grid here, and they were able to keep the grid up, but they had put in a lot of effort cutting down trees and getting stuff out of the way ahead of time. We lost internet because obviously everything went down tower wise. Thankfully I always have like extra food at the house, so we didn't need anything in terms of food. I forgot to get fuel though before the storm hit. That's on me. But to be fair, that's not the worst I could have done. So
we lost like $1,400-$1,500 in food.
I'm just glad you all motherfuckers are safe.
No, yeah, the safety thing, that was my biggest concern. Trying to keep the kids safe because my daughter wanted to go to town with me when I went out.
Yeah, I would have looked at her and went, hell no, baby girl, your ass is staying right motherfucking here.
Well, I had a feeling we weren't going to be able to get out, so I told her she could come along. We'd see how far we could get, but we didn't even get into town. Like I
was that the
picture. I was
gonna say that was the no. I saw you sent me a video and the picture.
Yeah, she was with me in the car. That was her talking.
Jesus.
And even she was just like, Dad, we can't get out. And I'm like, yeah, we'll be fine, kid. And she looked at me as we were turning around. She goes, what made you decide we need to go back? And I'm like, well, there was a railroad truck sitting up on a guardrail further down the fucking road that wasn't there yesterday. So that was a pretty good start.
And at that point, I would have batted in. I've seen Final Destination a few times, and no.
Yeah, it was.
I thought about saying it.
On Friday when I had to go get my wife, it was like 60. I want to say it's like 60 to 65 mile an hour winds here.
Fuck.
I don't even know what it was right here. Back. I told my wife, I'm like, look, I'm not going in today. This was Thursday. I'm like, I'm not going in. I don't feel like it's a safe idea for tonight. I'm like, I'm just gonna I'm just gonna stay home. She's like, okay, that's fine by me. You know, I won't complain. I'm like, yeah, I know. And I called my boss and told him. My boss was like, fine. And then the minute the storm was done, like I guess Friday, they set up an emergency center, or no, not Friday, Saturday. They set up the emergency center at my work, and people were able to start calling out and letting their loved ones know they were alive. But it's just been a week of no information, and the students were getting so fucking restless
Oh, I
that,
get that.
like, I felt bad for them because a lot of them were like, we don't know if our parents are alive because, you know, some of them are local. Like, we don't know if our parents are alive. We don't know if they're safe. We don't know. They don't know if we're safe, but they don't know if we're alive. And I'm going, well, like, just take it slow. I'm like, we can get through this if we all just work together.
Like
And
what
so,
what made us without power for so long is we sent like 70% of our linemen down to Georgia.
yeah, honestly, I thought Georgia would get it worse. But, I mean, it wouldn't be the first time I've been wrong. I'm married. So I'm told I'm wrong a lot. She lets me know every time that I fucked up. Really good
Fair.
at it, too.
That is fair. I've been
Yeah.
married for 12 years, so I get it.
Yeah. And now I just look at her and go, is this right, dear? And she's like, why are you asking me? I don't know. I'm like, because you're going to know when I'm done. So I figured I'd ask you now so you can figure it out.
I think the worst
Welcome
thing
back.
that happened to me is when, after all the storms and stuff were over, I went and opened the door on the Miata and I had like an inch of water on the floorboard.
Oof.
Oof.
See, when I got done, when all the storms had finished and everything like that, I went out. Well, actually, no, while they were going on, like it was just getting started. It was that first day with the rain. I was out in the driveway cutting out a little path because when I came home from the store Thursday, it was Thursday when I did this. The water was crisscrossing our driveway, and even though it was going into the woods, it was like slowly but surely eroding the gravel. I'm like, I gotta deal with that, so I had to cut a path all the way down the driveway, so that it wouldn't be an issue. And then they were like, we're canceling school for the next like whatever. And my kids have been home the whole time, and I'm like, I love you guys, but if you guys don't go back to school soon, we're gonna have a problem. I'm like, y'all are driving me nuts. Well, they just announced today at my work because like the kids have been, like I said, the students have been worried because it's a week without any information.
Yeah.
And so they've been panicking. I've seen it. I've seen it plain as day. I know what's going on. And one of them was like, they were like, well, we don't even know if they're going to take away our fall break, if this is going to mess up this or that or the other. I'm like, well, they'll get us information as soon as they can. They don't want to leave us in the dark either. And then they were like, hey, we're still doing fall break. Campus is out until the 21st. Don't come back. Or don't go anywhere if you can't get out, but if you can and you know that it's a safe path, go for it. And I was sitting there going, you've seen these kids drive, right? Do we really want them on the road in this fucking thing? I'm like, most of them don't know their asshole from a hole in the ground. You're gonna get someone murdered.
Right.
Someone's
like,
going to get
cool.
murdered. Someone's insurance rate's going to go up. People aren't going to be happy regardless.
I was just say, yeah.
Well, if my insurance rate goes up because my kid doesn't know how to drive, first off, I know I'm going to be the one that fucking murders him. Second,
I was gonna say, second, you probably failed at teaching your child how to drive properly.
yeah, more than anything, because I mean, I've watched these little assholes try to drive in this weather before, and most of them don't know where the hell they are on the road. Like, none of them have a clue where their fucking wheels are for shit. And it's nothing against them. It's just they weren't taught.
See, this is why I'm glad I'm learning without a cage.
Friggin' what's it called? My son, God bless him, my oldest, he looked at me one day, he goes, Dad, I'm gonna get my license soon. I'm like, I hope not. And he goes, why is that? I'm like, I've seen you play Mario Kart. I'm like, you don't need a license. I'm gonna need one so I can get around and so I can vote. I'm like, they make state IDs.
This is true.
I'm like, you don't need much to get a state ID. You just gotta prove you exist. You're there. You already got a body.
social security card.
Yep.
Well,
I love my oldest, but whoever decides to give him a fucking license, they need to get their head examined.
No. It's I think the more accurate term is, why did you do this? Like, why do you hate humanity? Like, did you just want everyone
Well,
to suffer?
I'm about to say, in their defense, if they hate humanity enough to give him a license, I'm going to assume it's because they've been on TikTok or Twitter.
Either or.
I mean, let's be honest. Ultron wanted to destroy humanity just by 5 minutes being on the internet.
so here's my biggest pet peeve when driving, right? And this goes back to yesterday, today, day before, whatever. I have been
Okay.
going to the student pickup line every day, and I'm usually about the third or fourth vehicle. Not a big deal. I have to get there super early, but I digress on that. Anyways, I get behind this lady in an SUV, and she stops at a yield sign with nothing coming.
Yeah.
I slow down, but I don't stop.
No, this lady comes to a full and complete stop. 0 miles an hour.
I mean, maybe that's not even accurate. I was gonna say maybe she's just being overly cautious, but even then,
And mind you, this is in the school parking lot because we have to go behind the buses. And the whole
Maybe-
reason why it was put there is because the buses, when they come down the hill, you're supposed to yield the right of way to them.
yeah, maybe she's one of those people with the slow child at play.
She's just this old woman who, no offense the way she drives, she has no business being on the road.
That's like 90% of old people. You just described my parents there.
Because she drives like, in a 25, she'll run 20.
Ugh.
I only do that when the roads are wet.
In a 55, she runs 40.
So she's deliberately doing this?
Some old people are just assholes. These are the kind of old people that creates a drive-through through a Chinese place that didn't have a drive-through. At least that's the way it sounds from my perspective.
Well, I've noticed the older people here are starting to drive slower, and my wife is, I'm sure you've heard the term ophthalmic technician.
Yes.
She is an ophthalmic technician. She does the eye exams for like 90% of the people in this area.
Oof.
And she even says like half of them should not drive.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
However, Kentucky has just implemented a new law, and I hope and pray to God. Like, I feel bad for all the elderly, but it is going to be mandatory for eye exams for your license renewal now.
I mean, that makes sense to me. Because, I mean, let's be honest. Well, hell, even me and my wife, we're not exactly old. We're only in our 40s. My wife wears glasses now to read, and she didn't a year ago. So, you know, your vision changes, and it after a certain point, I think it should be mandatory to get an eye exam regularly when you're getting your license, just to make sure you're still good enough to drive. Because
I think there should be a mandatory reflex test as well.
yeah, I could side with that.
Because if you're driving below the speed limit, either A, you can't see, or B, you're not sure of your reflexes anymore. Either of those cases.
There is one other one too. There is one other possibility, because I saw this one. There's a show, and Dobbs may have seen it a while back. Canada's Worst Drivers.
Yep.
And there was a guy on the show, and when he drove, he was never really taught where to look when he drives. So he was looking just above his car's hood. So like where the hood ends visually and meets the road, that's where he was looking. So to him, he was fucking flying. But to everyone else, he was going slow as shit. Because he didn't realize he was supposed to look off into the distance at what was going on. That was the same season they had the dude that had like the glass eye on the right, so he could only see like 10% of his fucking car. Still not sure how that guy got a license. It was a great show, but good God.
Like, I just don't get it, because Jeremy Clarkson said it best. Speed has never killed anyone. Suddenly coming to a stop, that kills people.
Oh hell, I've said something similar my whole life, but it's usually it's not the fall that gets you; it's that sudden stop when the rope goes taut.
Exactly.
But I hung out with a lot of emo kids. So that's probably why.
Well, I mean,
Well, I'd say hung out. I didn't really hang out. They did. I was just there.
were they non-conforming as can be?
I mean, different kind of hanging, but yeah.
Well, I think Dobbs got the reference.
I got all the
Oh, I knew
referencing.
Dobbs did. I knew Dobbs did because he's heard me say shit like that before.
No,
even the worst thing I've ever said.
no. I also happen to be well, in my high school years, I was a scene kid, so yeah.
No, yeah, I was ironically, and you guys have seen what I look like on TikTok. I was goth when I was in high school. I was a goth, and you wouldn't know it looking at me now. You'd be like, "Fuck, this dude's probably never done that kind of shit."
Me and my wife have come to the decision we never grew out of that phase. We just grew up. There's a difference.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, I still listen to the same music that I listened to back.
I just toned down my
back.
appearance.
Well,
Same.
I don't look like the emo kid or goth or anything like that. But last year I went to 2 Hollywood Undead concerts.
Nice.
That sounds like a good time.
It was a good time, especially when we got to do the meet and greet back in November.
Nice.
Man, it feels weird for me because like I look back at when I was younger, and I'm just like, I didn't listen to much of my generational music. Then again, I think about my generational music, and I'm just like, oh, that's right. There's Panic at the Disco and shit like that, and I'm just like, do I care enough? Probably not.
Oh, what's his name? I want to say I think his name, like, I'm a bit tired, so forgive me. Johnny Two Tears from Hollywood Undead.
Yep. I think I know who you're talking about.
That guy
It's been a bit.
is the biggest fucking clown in the world in the greatest way possible. He clowned
Yeah,
on.
always good.
I was gonna say the word clown up here is more of an insult.
Well,
It depends.
No, it depends as the diaper brand.
He didn't even know any of us, and he was just cracking jokes left and right at our expense.
Discard.
Like that guy, and then Charlie. He has like the stereotypical like epitomized dad bod.
hell yeah, brother.
And I'm just sitting there and I'm like, I remember you guys when I saw you in Huntington, West Virginia in 2010. Y'all were so young and skinny looking. Every last one of you.
It's funny because I think my wife was talking to me the other day, and she goes, "Hey, if you could go to a concert now, what would it be?" And I'm like, "I don't know. I wouldn't mind seeing Papa Roach one more time before I die."
I saw Papa Roach.
And she looked at me. She goes, "When was the last time you saw Papa Roach?" Because she didn't know. And I was like, 2005, 4. And she goes, "You were in Korea." I'm like, "Yeah, they were there."
February 14th, 2023.
You know, it's funny.
Dude.
I saw a TikTok the other day where they're just like, "Oh yeah, Mallrats is turning 30 years old next year," and I'm like, "Oh shit."
Correction, February 7th, 2023 is when we saw him. We saw him, Falling in Reverse, Escape the Fate, and I want to say there was one more band.
Boros, why are you gonna hit me like that, man?
I don't know what's worse, knowing how old that is, or the fact that they're bringing back Warped Tour.
Whoa! Wait a minute. They're bringing it back.
They're bringing back Warped Tour, yes.
They can't do any worse than Fire Festival.
Okay, I gotta be honest. I went to Warped Tour way back in the day.
back when it was good?
Dude, I played Xbox with 303.
Yikes. Ooh.
Yeah.
What a fun time.
Like, that's back before 303 became big.
I mean, there's like a lot of things I think about, like the late 90s, early 2000s, and like even going into like the 2010s, and that whole era. And that's when like the culture was still unique and it was different. But it's not as but it's way less shitty than it was now. I think I saw a TikTok where a teacher showed their class of kids, welcome to the Black Parade, and the amount of them that were giving the teacher shit because it was considered emo. I'm like, oh, you poor soul, you don't know anything.
How to summon a generation with one note.
Ting.
Yeah, that'll do it.
Yep, it'll do it.
I'll be
do
fair
that in
though,
school.
and I've told my kids this. I'm like, I should talk their music a lot, like ridiculous, copious amounts of it. But like my parents did it to me too, and you'll do it to your kids. It's just a rite of passage.
Well,
See, I don't really have to worry about my kiddo because he listens to Hollywood Undead and Slipknot and Korn and all them.
Yeah,
So.
mine does too. He asked me the other day. We were talking about what he wants for Christmas, and he was sending me a list of like albums he wants. I'm like, you want vinyls? And he's like, I'm collecting vinyls now. I'm like, okay, whatever, dude. And on the list was like all music that I listen to. I'm like, these are the ones you want. He goes, yeah. And I'm like, okay. He goes, I got the same music taste as you. I'm like, well, I did something right.
Proud dad moment.
It's funny you mentioned that, like hating on the music. I don't know if you guys have heard it or seen it, but there recently was a music video which had LL Cool J and Eminem. It's called Murdergram.
Yeah, I have that song, and it's fucking fire.
Murdergram Deuce.
Murdergram Dude.
So good.
It's French.
It is.
It means two.
It is so good.
But
a lot of people are just like saying like, yeah, this is what rap and hip hop used to sound like, and instead of the mumble rap and shit that's coming out right now. And I'm like, yeah, it's true. Like culture and generational stuff doesn't necessarily mean it's good. Like the new stuff, it really doesn't.
Oh, I just.
Oh yeah, 100%.
I just saw a video that made me sick to my stomach.
I have a comment to make, but
Yeah,
legally
to
I'm not
narrow that
allowed
down.
to.
Well, a semi just decided to make a sandwich out of a Mark IV Supra.
Oh,
Ooh. That sounds disgusting.
With an original Bomex body kit on it.
Dude,
Oh.
why?
That's a war crime.
That front bumper alone is like $5,000.
Like it would make even like the Gundam series go, we didn't script that as a war crime, but you certainly did.
Yes. Like that.
Suddenly the quality drop doesn't look bad.
So speaking of Gundam, Bandai today, they announced their new Gundam TCG. In case you guys have not seen or heard of it.
I have.
Wait, they're doing another one? They're taking a second stab at that?
Well, to be honest with you, the last one didn't really go too hot. And then the other time they printed Gundam cards was for Battle Spirit Saga, which, I mean, it's still a thing that's supported, but it's unfortunately just not the same. And they're never going to release the Gundam set here in the West. So they're just like, well, we'll just make a TCG that, it's on universal release. And I'm like, that's a good thing. I see the mechanics of the game. It doesn't look too bad, and I'm definitely going to go into it. But man, I just see this stuff, and I'm just like, I don't know if I should be like happy or scared. And I'm seeing all these different.
The last time I remember them dropping a TCG, it was back when they did SD Gundam Force. The last time I really remember it, and it was shit.
The last time they did it was I think Next A, which was like 2011 or so.
Okay, so that's more recent because the other one was 05.
Yeah, they actually show like an actual timeline of like their past TCG sets and what Bandai has produced, and it didn't really fit. But I think now they can get away with it because for the first time in an eternity, the One Piece one has popped off. They're going to like set 9, set 10 now, and it's doing pretty well, which is a better run than like freaking any of the Dragon Ball ones, which have been shit, to be honest with you.
So
And-
I've
Fair
noticed
enough.
they took a lot from Card Fight Vanguard when they designed these sets, or when they designed the card games.
Well, Vanguard also has had like 3 different reboots, so
Oh, I
don't
know.
take don't take it into consideration. But they have taken inspiration from, say, like what's it called, Duel Masters and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
it looks interesting. I think
You
it's
mean
going
the
to be a
game
fun
that died in North America and like, what was that? The
thrive and thrive in
early
Japan.
2000s.
Well, it's thriving
You mean
still thriving
Yu-Gi-Oh?
in Japan, and it never stopped.
Yeah.
No, Yu-Gi-Oh has never stopped in North America, but Card Fight Duel Masters died in like 2003, 2004 in the U.S., but in Japan it's still going strong.
Oh yeah, it never stopped over there. And then they tried to bring it back, and here in the States, like 2010 or something like that.
Kaiju
And
Do.
yeah, it just did not do well.
It does.
But either way, the TCU looks promising. They have 5 different Gundam series so far in it, which is Wing, Seed, the original, Witch from Mercury, and Unicorn.
Sup, grinding.
Well, see, I find it
sounds
weird
interesting.
that the Witch or the original and Unicorns are technically Universal Century. I feel like they should have been all in one.
I have a feeling that if they should have done a first set, I would have been fine with like Universal Century exclusively, because that's like the primary one that everyone gives a shit about. But
Yeah.
I'm also okay with the selection. I don't think it's necessarily bad. So
No, I don't think it's bad at all. I just,
It's
you know,
interesting.
it's interesting that they split up Universal Century like that.
Yeah.
Because that would also imply that pretty much anything else like Zeta, Double Zeta, War in the Pocket, all that is going to be split up.
as it should, because even though they're all part of UC, there's different stories and elements to like each of those parts. So
That's fair.
yeah, and not to mention, I'm okay with having things split up like that. It's very reasonable. It's not like we're like losing that much on this. And
No.
and on top of that, we're talking about like the like 5 of the most well-known entries in the entire series right there for the first set. With one of them being like the most recent. Well, because it's the most recent, people know it.
Thing, because see, the way I would have done it, and this is just me personally, I'm not Bandai or anything, I would have done Cosmic Century, After Colony, Universal Century, Witch from Mercury, and what is Seed? I can't remember Seed.
Cosmic Era.
Seed is Amino Domini or something like that.
I thought it was Cosmic Era. No, actually, hang on. I can tell you right fucking now.
I could be wrong.
I-
Cosmic Era. aren't
I can tell you right fucking now.
I think it might actually be Cosmic Era.
It's Cosmic Era.
It's CE,
Yeah.
yeah.
Whatever Double O would be. That way you get the eras in, and then you bring out the expansions like Unicorn and stuff like that.
Well,
Bam.
They're,
The
as
Cosmic
a-
Era.
Yeah.
If they do Double O, they should retitle it though BP.
Although, I will say this. They're coming out with these, which means the following set should have Double O, IBO, Seed Destiny, because why the fuck not? Maybe Narrative as a follow-up to Unicorn, and some other. I would fuck with Chi Gundam, to be honest with you. I would love that shit.
Yeah. I was just
Uh,
thinking if we're doing
I'll have to
follow-up
write down
to
the
the
11.
previous sets, Frozen Teardrop for After Colony.
Oh no, Endless Waltz. They'll do Endless Waltz.
Yeah.
How about that?
Endless Waltz and then Frozen Teardrop, because that... I don't know why I would have to buy the, shit. Snow White Prelude card.
Yeah. More than likely, they're probably going to be doing a lot of the mobile suits, like the specialty ones, is like they're gonna have like a regular printing of it, and they're gonna have like the super pretty version of it because that's how Bandai sets work now. And but also today when they announced it, they put a beta set in the P Bandai, and by beta, what they mean is that you paid like I think it was like $60-$70 or something like that.
Jesus.
Which it came with free shipping, by the way. Unironically, there was a coupon that came with it, which was wild to me.
See, this is where I would post my P Bandai shit. If P Bandai shit to fucking Canada.
Well, the other thing is that this was like a beta kit where you got like 16 boosters, you got some promo cards, you also got 6 D6 metal dice with the ones being the logo of the TCG for this, which the logo for the Gun TCG looks crisp. And
see, that should have been on the. You said D6, right?
Yeah.
Okay, never mind. I thought you said D20.
No. They're D6 because it does use counters in the game. But they also said like, hey, we're gonna release it here. We're gonna release it at Bandai Fest whenever those happen, and then they're also gonna release it at certain retail stores, supplies limited. And I'm just like, okay. So they're gonna try to make it accessible enough, because in the past I've seen it where other TCGs have this issue where they release like promos at like conventions that heavily warped their overall playability. And a great example of that was the Transformers TCG when Hasbro put that out. There were promos that they released at Gen Con that literally made certain decks playable and unplayable because of it.
Lame.
And I'm like, ooh, yeah, it was bad. Like in all the trading cards, I love it, but I also hate it at the same time because I'm so entrenched in it that when I recognize a problem, I'm like, oh, I see the writing on the wall. Let me just back out real quick.
So I gotta ask, do you play Magic the Gathering?
I used to. I still think it's a good card game, but I think right now Wizards of the Coast is having just issues of, or rather, Wizards of the Coast is a good company. Hasbro is the shitty part of it, so they're not making it any easier for us. So that's kind of my.
I'm sure you've heard of Commander then.
100% the bans that happened last week. Yeah, where like everyone, like some people lost like hundreds of dollars, if not thousands of dollars in value, because they decided to ban 4 cards, 3 of which were going for $8 plus a pop. Yeah, that was wild.
But at the same time, it was warping a format.
I mean, kind of. The cards they banned were specifically used for Commander, right?
Yeah.
And one people realized was already fucking stupid, that they should never have been printed, and it was a card that came out recently in Modern Horizons 3, which already warped the modern format, which is like the most competitively played support by Wizards of the Coast and Hasbro. It literally broke that format where it got almost insta banned. And then the other 3 cards are like, one was just printed in a set like back in like 2020, and it was like had a low pull rate. Another came from a Commander deck that only got stronger over time, and the other is just a really old card that was just gate kept by reprints. Like its price was so high. So
yeah, it was. You're talking about shit. What's trying to think of its name?
Mana Crypt.
Mana Crypt, yeah.
Mana Crypt was originally a book promo. It wasn't even the set, so it was just super hard to get. And then every other reprint of the card came out in like master sets or like had like low pull ratios, stuff like that. So the card went for stupid money. We're talking like it was almost like $200 for any copy.
Oh no, it was $200.
Yeah, and it was just like, this is stupid. And as someone who's owned a few Mana Crypts in his life, I couldn't give $2 less. I sold mine, and I'm happy I got rid of them. But I also think that Magic just has an issue with making their game more accessible. Because I literally got in a fight with somebody in TikTok, I think like earlier this year, where they're just like, yeah, proxies should be allowed in tournaments. I'm like, you're fucking crazy for thinking that, for one. And 2, cards need to hold value, but they shouldn't be that expensive. Like, I shouldn't be seeing decks that are just like, hey, you want to play in competitive Commander? I need you to put down a down payment for a car. Starting for your deck, by the way.
Like,
I'm like,
I have a CEDH deck that, without my mana crypt in there, dropped like $200, but it's still like a $3,700 deck right now.
yeah, and you just move on from that. Like, it's just, it blows my mind nonetheless that I see stuff like this all the time. And now, being in other card games and being in other scenes, I can tell you this right now, as much as I love Magic, it's just gone to shit. It's nowhere near as fun as it used to be. Like, if you're around like good people and good buddies that want to play with you, it's solid. I know Dobbs will play Commander with Zayu and the rest of them whenever he can. That's a fun time, right? But that's the thing, though, is that you have to be playing around the right crowd and with the right people to really enjoy it. It's like playing D&D and stuff like that. And that's kind of what it's boiled down to now. You can't really be getting the same thing out of playing casual games like Commander or any card game for that matter in a local scene if you don't vibe with them. Like right now, more so than ever, I look at the local scene whenever I go play One Piece, right? Because I love the One Piece card game; it's super solid. But there's clicks in that, and I'm not around them, so they kind of like talk and do things with themselves, and I'm like, I have no idea. But I show up and I play, and I do well. But I'm kind of like, you know what? I just don't really vibe with them that much, and I want to get out of it.
Yeah,
and now,
I get it on that one, because I'll be honest, I don't own a real mana crypt. I don't think I've ever owned a real mana crypt in my 23 years, because I think 7th edition came out in 2001.
No, that probably was like 8th edition or something like that. No, yeah, 7th edition was like 2001, 2002. I think 2003 was 8th edition.
I think it was 2001 was 7th, and then they had all the little intermediate booster sets in between, and then 8th edition came out in 2003.
Yeah, which 7th edition foils are some of the cleanest in the entire game, by the way.
Yeah. And I have never owned a mana crypt. I've owned Chalice of the Voids, Chrome Mogs, stuff like that. I traded Chalice of the Voids when they were like 50-cent cards.
Bet you're kicking your ass right now, aren't you?
Yeah, because they're going for like $70-$80 right now a pop. Yeah, and like that's like the funniest part about all this is that like whenever I actually got out of I sold my stuff for Magic, I had a poster edition of the One Ring because last year they came out with the Lord of the Rings set. And of course the One Ring is a cool card, right? But it's also a busted card because it gives you protection the turn comes out. It's card draw, and it's used in like every single format it's legal in. That poster card I bought for like a little under $100 last year. I sold it when it was about like $150, and then I saw the price of it as of recent. It was like over $400, and I was like, "What the fuck? Why is it so expensive?"
I have 2 of the One Ring. My most expensive one's like $130 because it's the regular set card.
Uh-huh.
And then my second one is the bundle, the booster bundle box.
From
it.
Yeah, that was standard in the booster bundle, and it's not worth a fair bit now. But
it's worth like, I think I gave $60 for that bundle, and right now just the One Ring from it alone is worth like $90-$100.
And what's funny is that even though I sold out majority of my Magic cards, the only expensive one I have kept is a Soul Ring from the collector box. And the reason why I kept it is because one, my buddy he pulled, and I was looking to get it for one of my trainer decks, and there were a limited printing of each of these Soul Rings inside the collector boxes. But the cool thing about them was that they had one for each faction of like, you know, the living, I guess, races of the world in Lord of the Rings. So they had a ring for the dwarves, the elves, and the humans. And the best thing about them is that not only did the artwork match up to it, they're also written in Elvish.
Like, I remember one guy bragging about his masterpiece mana crypt, or masterwork mana crypt. You know, the Kaladesh special edition one.
Very pretty ones, yes.
And he's like, dude, check this out. I'm like, that's cool and all, but you realize that eventually it's not going to be worth a red cent. And he's like, oh yeah, it's always going to keep its value. I'm like, no. You're literally betting in a card game that is given an arbitrary value by the people who play it.
Yep.
If it ever goes to shit, it ain't going to be worth anything.
Yep, that sounds about
Why
right.
does that look?
I was
Yeah.
like, it's like going out and saying, oh, this new cryptocurrency is going to be worth a fortune one day, and then all of a sudden it fucking tanks.
Oh, you mean like it already did?
I'm talking like a brand new, somebody just came up with a cryptocurrency that everyone's like, oh, it's going to be worth a fortune.
Yeah, because I think only like Ethereum and Bitcoin are the ones that really hold their value right now, as far as crypto's concerned. So
Like,
everything
I got
else
in,
it just doesn't really do the same.
put it to you this way. I invested in Dogecoin when $8 got me like a metric fuck ton of them.
I think
And
you sold out like a few years ago.
Back in like 2020, 2021, when they decided to say, oh, well, we're going to get this huge boom. I went from an $8 investment to a $3,600 investment.
You need to cash out?
Oh, fuck yeah, I did in a heartbeat because I knew it was going to plummet.
Yeah, it climbed to like almost like over 30 cents a coin at the time. And
Exactly.
yeah, and everyone's like, to the moon, and I'm like, no, it's because Elon Musk is hyping the fuck out of it. And then before you knew it, it just tanked.
Exactly. I made an $8 investment into a $3,600 investment.
That's me whenever I went gambling last night. I visited my family. I did slots and I did a machine where a $3 spin turned almost $2,200.
I mean, that's solid.
No, it was insane because it was like, dude, it was wild. Like the machine, the bonus that it gave out. Because normally, like whenever, like you've done slots where there's like a scatter bonus.
I've never done slots actually.
Okay, you might appreciate this then. So slots typically have like a random system to how it does its payouts and bonuses and stuff like that. Well, occasionally there are some machines where it has like a mini progressive built into it, to where the more you play through the slots, the more a payout you get. And this one was based around like pandas. The pandas each had like a different effect while they were on the board. One just like boosted like the rest of your pandas payouts. Another would just open like more rows. Well, this one, whenever it would respin, because of course during bonuses, you're always respinning every single time to build up your bonuses and everything else. Whenever it would respin, he would suck the value out of all of the other pandas on the screen after each spin. And so there was like 10, 15 spins. He alone was worth at least $1,000 when everything was said and done. Like he was a stupid amount. So like it was a really, really lucky bonus from slots, because slots they have like a really unique element of gambling to them, because you can't really control the odds. You can't control, like you could bet on people or know how a person's like, able to like perceive a situation and say like blackjack or poker and make like calculated guesses. You don't get that with slots. It's you against the machine, and you have to hope pray you win.
Yeah.
So it's more fun in slots though, because you can do like a small like $1-2 bet and get hundreds if not thousands of dollars out of it. And it's beautiful. Like I think the last time I went gambling with my family back in I think like June, I walked away with like 2 hand pays, which is when a teller comes out, and I think it's when you get like over like $1,200 or something like that. You have to do a hand pay, which at that point you get paid out. You can cash it out, but you have to either pay taxes or you can pay, or you just collect it later when you do your taxes, like one of the two, right? Because it's such a large number of money, at once. And honestly, walking away with like over $3,000 in cash that week, I was like, oh my god! I walked away with like almost the exact same amount of money I would normally make in like 2 paychecks. Just for coming out and gambling. It felt pretty good.
Well, I mean, I've done something similar to that, except it wasn't gambling. I'm sure you know what the Kentucky Derby is. I'm pretty sure everyone does.
Is the Pope Catholic?
Right. Well, Fort Knox gets tasked every year to send active duty soldiers to be VIP escorts and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
I got lucky enough that at the time I was a pretty decent looking individual. I'm not gonna say I was great looking, but I was decent looking. So all the little old ladies who were getting drunker and drunker were having me go and get them drinks, and they were tipping me. I left that weekend with 3 times my base pay as an E1.
I'll do it.
With no taxes.
Yeah, you know what? That's like one of the best things about being military at times, that like your life may suck depending, but you have your moments where it's like, oh, it feels good. And
Exactly.
I know a good example of this is everyone who gets stationed out in Vegas. The amount of time they need volunteers to like work shows is insane. Like, hey, Post Malone's coming out. They need volunteers for staff. You want to go? Yeah. Why not? I can go see Post Malone for free $99. Oh hell yeah, let's do it.
I love how Post Malone's in this country arc right now.
Oh dude, he's something else right now. I'm not gonna lie about that. Like Posty is like, I think one of like the best things that happened to music in a hot minute. I love it.
Agreed.
I like him now that he's sober.
Well,
I mean, I like.
He got sober because he's a dad.
That's what I mean. He smartened up.
Well, I just really appreciate him because he's also a nerd.
Mm-hmm.
Man spent over $800,000 on a Magic card.
Go up. He spent $2.5 million.
For the 1-of-1 ring, which, by the way, kudos to the guy who pulled it. Man was a Costco worker in Canada.
Oh.
And
Yeah.
Canada was trying to take all of the sales money from him.
Yeah, attempted. I don't see how far they would get with that, to be honest with you.
That I don't know. I haven't heard anything because, I mean, well, Dobbs can vouch for the legitimacy of the Canadian government.
Well, let's not go there, please. I'd rather.
We don't want to get him on a tangent.
I think at that point, Dobbs is just gonna be like, we're just gonna shut up real quick. Yeah.
Well, like I said, the legitimacy or lack thereof.
No, it'd be like, you know what, folks? We're gonna be right back.
I'm not here for this conversation. I'm gonna move on.
Hit the BRB screen. That that little thing goes off. I cut off both the mics for just Discord and my mic. Go off for like the next 2 hours.
And next thing we know, he has the Pinkertons at his door.
Oh,
I don't need them.
Are they still around?
Yes.
oh, no.
Yes.
Oh, dude, did you not hear what happened last year?
So
No.
Pinkertons to a guy's house because he got a booster box that shouldn't have happened because it was mispacked.
Oh wait, I did hear about that. I
Yeah,
thought that was a myth.
No,
it was
it
a
was
real thing.
legit.
Oh my god, that is wild.
Yeah, that was
straight up venom.
Yeah, it was very much a, you fucked up. Oh, we fucked up. We fucked up.
Aren't they
kind of moment.
We're gonna punish you for it by sending armed people to your door.
Let's say, aren't they banned by like the U.S. government from ever having a contract?
Yes.
That is okay then.
They've
That's
been
the Red Dead guys.
Yeah, they've been banned since like the 1800s.
For good reason.
Yeah.
Yeah, they have been
That is-
banned since like the 1800s by the U.S. government from ever holding a government contract.
That is, I just, wow.
But
Wow.
Hasbro sent them to a civilian's house.
Yeah, way to go, Hasbro. Way to give yourself no customer base.
Like, my whole thought process, go ahead, let me pick up one of these fucked up boxes like that and send the Pinkertons to my house, I will be calling their employer or their bosses on their cell phone. Yes, I am that guy. You better have, if you're gonna come to my house armed, you better have level 4 body armor.
I was about to say, the only people I'm calling is what is it, 611 to find out where I can dig.
Shit, why do I need that? I live out in the middle of nowhere, and I have friends with
About to say,
excavators.
I do too, and there's a mine behind my house full of water right now. I know exactly where to dump them.
I know a couple of pig farmers.
I do too.
Ooh, that is dangerous right there, but you know, you gotta respect those hogs.
But yeah,
Benefit
it's
of
like,
bacon, it'll eat anything.
I go to the door, I see him. Is that level 4 body armor? No. You ain't prepared.
Come back when you have some.
Hey, all I'm saying is, I don't care what kind of body armor you're wearing. The eyes are always a soft target.
That's exactly what we found out in John Wick. Was it 3? It was like it was either 2 or 3, where they're just like, oh, you're excommunicado. They're gonna come kill you. What's the plan? Well, you need something to penetrate their armor, and the only thing you can do is hit them in the head with a slug. That's your best option.
Yep.
I need a gun.
You can armor up as much as you want to, but you can't cover those eyes. You need them to see.
Yep.
And just to be completely clear, I have body armor that will withstand 30-06 armor piercing.
Who hurt you as a kid?
Yes. No, I decided it was a good idea to invest in body armor. Don't know why, but I just have
Wolverines.
I have that sneaking suspicion that it will come in handy one day.
Wolverines.
I mean, I'm not gonna say it, but
Wolverines.
yeah, yes.
Oh boy.
Hey man, I see it happening too.
Well, I'm gonna be honest. After seeing TikTok with all this stuff, I want to know what's going on because I'm hearing that the government's
NATO wants my country involved.
not helping, and I'm just like, I don't know what the fuck to do.
Wait, hold on. They want the company that has done the most amount of war crimes to contribute.
They want us to be ready for conventional war.
Oh, we're fucked. Okay, cool. It was a good time. All right.
Not
And,
only that, after
I mean, if
seeing
conscription
like,
does come into play for Canada,
so we're bringing in the guys that gave the Geneva Conventions their fucking list or the majority thereof.
Geneva Convention's more like Geneva Suggestions. All right.
and then all of a sudden you guys all get the exact same DM from me. Just a selfie.
Next thing we know, we see Dobbs and he's just holding a gun. We're like, shit.
Damn it. It's like, I'm gonna have to get involved in this now.
You're just gonna be like, well, we can't leave our boy behind. We can't let our boy have all the fun.
You know what? I've decided that when I get out next year and everything else, and I transition to a more reasonable lifestyle, I'm buying a gun. That's a fact. I have not had a reason to own a gun since I've been in, and the reason being is because I've never had a reason to realistically sit down and be like, what reason do I need a gun for where I live? There's no point. But,
Well, it's not even that. If you're a single soldier living in the barracks, it's in your all's case, you're all dorms, apartments, whatever you want to call them.
Shacks, as I like to call them.
It's a little bit more difficult because they have to be stored in the arms room. You have to have a memo from the commander. It turns into a debacle.
Yeah, 100%. And in my case, right, I live off base. I live in my own rinky-dink little apartment. But the thing about this apartment, though, is that there's not really much crime that happens here. And even though it is still very risque being in this apartment, the difference being is the fact that I'm like, this is a smallish town. They hear gunshots, police are already on the scene within like a minute or two, max. Right? It is that quick. So, in my particular case, I just don't have a reason to own a gun half the time. And I just don't really see a reason
I can give you a reason.
How
America.
about... Fair enough. Fair enough. I personally am trying to just enjoy my time, but eventually I'm going to have to, be like, all right, let me figure out the reason why I need to own a gun. However, what does blow my mind, though, is my parents own a gun. But they have it in the most dumb way set up. Like, imagine if someone was trying to, break into your house and you wanted to grab their gun. They have it locked away in a safe with a gun lock on it. Like inside, like an actual just like fabric case holding. With not even a single bullet inside of the chamber for any of the magazines. It's just not stored. I'm like, do you mean to tell me that you're going to rush over there, unlock that gun, put a few rounds in a magazine, insert it, have it ready within like less than 10 seconds? No, you're not.
My pistol stays in 0 carry. One in the chamber, ready to go at all times.
Yeah, and that's my thing is that like, I look at their setup. I'm like, you guys are not prepared if someone actually comes robbing this house. Like, I'm actually concerned here.
I don't have to worry about my kiddo going and grabbing it because I've taught him. I taught him the 4 fundamentals of gun ownership and firing a firearm. More or less drilled it into his head for the past 4 years.
Good, as one should.
And he knows not to touch it unless I'm around, and I make sure that it's clear.
Yeah,
but my pistol carrying with one in the chamber is probably actually the most dangerous thing you can do with it because it is a Glock. So many cops have shot their own feet and legs with a Glock because they have one in the chamber.
You forgot the one in the chamber.
And I'll tell you right now, with the ammunition that's in there, you might as well shoot yourself in the leg with a 45.
Because it'll hurt less, or because you're more likely to not lose a body part.
I'm not gonna say it'll hurt less because a bullet going in, regardless, is gonna hurt like bitch. Doesn't matter if it's a 22 or a 50 cal, it's still gonna hurt.
Yeah.
50 cal just leaves a bigger hole.
I have 9mm plus P plus hollow point, which has the same knockdown power and stopping power as a 45 ACP hollow point, except I shoot at a much higher rate of velocity. Because I think my 1911, when I had it has a
Sorry, every time I hear those magic numbers.
I think my 1911 had a muzzle velocity of like 11 or 1200 feet per second. Or no, I think it was like 800 feet per second. My 9mm.
Okay, Daddy, stop.
Is like 1400.
Daddy, chill.
He's like, what's that scene from Archer? Stop! I can only get so erect.
Yeah, exactly.
My penis can only become so erect.
Hey, I have a 1911 replica.
Replica,
airsoft. Yes, airsoft.
Like
Full metal airsoft.
Don't get me wrong, it's a good pistol, but for an everyday carry, I would rather have something with a polymer frame because the 1911 is just way too heavy to daily carry.
I like the weight.
I had a reinforced belt and it still bent the belt.
Dear God.
yeah, they are not light when you load them with 8+1.
Well,
Because
all I know,
yeah,
all I know is that when I eventually do get a gun for myself, right, I'm gonna go to a gun show, and I'm gonna have to make some very informed decisions about what I need to go for.
Rocket
well,
about
you're talking to a licensed, certified, and educated gunsmith.
I know. That's the reason. That's the reason why when I get around to it, I'll be like, hey, tell me everything I need to know and what I should be looking at.
So I know you're not looking right now, but the first thing is, are you looking for an everyday carry? Are you looking for home defense? What are you looking for?
Home defense and something fun to bring to the range, probably. I want to have something that's multi-use, but I also might just get another gun later down the line. And if I need to, I'll have one for home defense. And something I'll just shoot at the range to get really proficient in.
So the first thing I would say, if you're looking for both home defense and a range gun, do not go get a shotgun. Do not listen to a single FUD when they say, "Oh, shotgun's the best home defense." No, get fucked, people.
Shotguns are highly. How else do I put this? They are described as amazing home defense weapons, but they're big.
They
They're not very
require
agile.
twice as much training to be
Yeah,
used
because
to
of the kickback and recoil.
Yeah, your follow-up shots are much slower. My recommendation is don't get anything bigger than a 9mm.
Something small but effective that will get the point across.
Find something that fits your hand.
Yes, I think that's because
May I make a recommendation?
What's that, Dobbs?
If my numbers are correct, the M9 Beretta?
I would not go with an M9 because they're pretty much in the same boat as a 1911 where they're just way too heavy, and honestly there are more accurate things on the market.
And considering I've actually shot an actual M9 myself, I have to agree.
Well, I mean, you shot an M9. They now have like the M9A3 and A4 out.
Yeah, I was basically just dealing with like
the first generation of the M9, which doesn't have the Picatinny rail and the red dot cut slide and everything like that.
Pretty much.
The A3 was like leagues ahead of the regular M9 in terms of fireability, and I'm not gonna say go with a Glock because
my next one's gonna be the Glock 18.
Can't buy one legally.
Oh.
It's automatic. It has a selector switch. You can go with a Glock 17, which is a full frame, a Glock 19, which is a compact, a Glock 23, which is a subcompact 9, or a Glock 27, which is like tiny. Actually,
all right.
Or no, the 27 is the subcompact 9. The 23 is the subcompact 40. I don't recommend 40 just because they're a very snappy round. A lot of muzzle flip for not a lot of power. Another good one, the 6 Sauer P320.
Well, let's get a pen and paper ready. Start writing.
It's also known as the M17 and M18 in the Army and Marine Corps. I'm not sure which one's which. It's the same pistol, just a different nomenclature.
So, here's my thing about this. I'm not looking to buy anytime soon. So when I get around to it, I'm just going to ask you. But it's good to hear your input because, of course, it really does matter to, have an idea of what you're looking for.
Oh, yeah. I mean, keeping your eye out for stuff. One of my favorite ones for new shooters, if you're looking for a good range gun that has great accuracy, look for any pistol chamber in 5.7 by 28.
Any particular reason for that?
I watched a guy at CCDW range make a smiley face with one. That thing is deadly accurate. Like, no scraggly tooth, nothing. Straight up fucking smiley face.
Lol.
I've also watched them stack rounds one on top of the other at 21 feet or 7 yards.
Alrighty then.
It's insanely accurate. I mean, it's the same round that the P90 shoots, but in a pistol.
Small but lethal. Okay.
Exactly. I would not recommend a 9x18 Makarov, a 380 ACP, a 38 special, because most 38 specials are like revolvers. I mean, if you want a revolver, cool, but if you're wanting a range gun, I would highly suggest not getting a revolver.
To be honest with you, the only revolver I would get for myself, and they're expensive, but I like them, is a Rhino.
You want to put a hole in something.
Exactly.
No, he wants to put a hole in his neighbor's refrigerator. Through his walls and theirs.
I was about to say through the walls.
Yeah, so for me, right, I have ideas of what I want. The problem is, gentlemen, is that I have decent taste, which means that I just don't go for a gun because it's a gun. I go for a gun because it's functional and works for me.
Yeah, I mean that.
As it should be.
That's why I'm trying to give options on, based off of personal experience, stuff that I've worked with, stuff like that, stuff that I've actually shot or have seen shot in person.
And in the past, I've also just shot rifles, shotguns, things like that with Boy Scout and things of that nature. But the difference being is that that's a very controlled environment. You're not able to like really test yourself. So for me, I'm just like, yeah, whatever.
Well, now, you could do an AR pistol.
How does that work?
So you can't put a buttstock on it, first of all.
Okay.
They make a pistol brace. You can use that as a buttstock, but it's technically not. It's kind of a gray area. It just got repealed, so pistol braces are back on the market. It uses a real short barrel. Usually, a pistol can be anywhere from like 10 inches, or we'll say 8 inches to 14 and a half without a pinned muzzle brake.
Mm-hmm.
Because anything 14 and a half, 14 and a half inch barrels have to have a pinned and welded muzzle brake. You cannot remove the muzzle brake ever. But I digress on that. That's a whole different ballgame, because once you can remove the muzzle brake on a 14 and a half inch barrel, it becomes a short barreled rifle.
I mean, does it really affect that much?
It doesn't affect anything, but it appeases our overlords. And you don't have to pay $200 extra.
Ah, fair enough. You should have said that it saves you on some money.
Yeah.
Do you want to save $200?
you know what's funny? Every single time I think about someone like upgrading their gun, I think of that one scene from the gun where he just takes his handgun, starts putting all of like the upgrades on it, and it just ends into like a gigantic mortar or just like literally artillery, and he's just like, yeah. I'm
like my Glock 19X, I have a Surefire tack light on it. I have a threaded muzzle or threaded barrel, so I could put a compensator, suppressor, whatever on it. And I have what they call an RMR cut, which is the Trigicon red dot cut. So I could put a red dot on it. I also have a lot of custom tweaking and tuning done to the gun to where it's got like a 2.5 pound trigger and so on and so forth. It's meant, that pistol was meant specifically for me to everyday carry and to be accurate as shit with little to no trigger pull. But do I recommend that for somebody who just technically got their first gun, even though you've been in the Air Force? It would technically be your first gun. Fuck no. Do not touch trigger. Not until you are comfortable with that weapon and its stock configuration. Do not touch that trigger. Because mine is borderline hair.
Oh, just
like I can barely touch my trigger and I can fire the pistol. But it's got a 2.5 pound pull.
Oh.
I think a standard Glock is like 4.5 to 5 pound. I think that's what my wife's Gen 5 Glock 19 is like 4.5 pound. And like people are like, oh well, that's pretty standard. Well, yeah, that is standard. That's why mine is borderline a hair trigger, because I've done the drop test. It won't go off if I drop it, but the second I put my finger on it, if I'm not aiming at what I want, I can very, very easily just barely bump the trigger and fire it.
Have you ever watched My Name is Earl, out of curiosity?
Yes.
So you know the scene where it's like, you see, this is why guns are great. Just jams the gun in their pocket, like their pants, and it just goes off. They're like
Cheddar Bob, also from 8 Mile.
Yeah.
Shoves it down his pants, shoots his fucking femoral artery.
Dumbass.
It's like, God, you all are stupid. And there are people
Someone won a Darwin Award doing that.
Yeah. See, I don't appendix carry either, because, yeah, that just seems dumb to me. Also uncomfortable, very uncomfortable, because I'm not skinny anymore. Let's see here. I would say Smith & Wesson, any of the M&P line, the Taurus G2, any bone stock 3rd or 4th gen Glock, or a Sig Sauer P320, because the P320, you can actually change the grip on it and make it bigger or smaller depending on what you need. You can buy what you need for it, and it has like this whole proprietary drop-in trigger assembly that's actually the frame of the pistol. It's beautiful. Like, even the Army got the compact and the full-size polymer grips for the P320s.
Oh. Yeah, I'm a bit too fried at age ready to think about guns at this point. But eventually, when I get around to it, I will come to you, because it's literally one, your profession, and two, I kind of need guidance.
Religion.
There's so, well, religion, lifestyle, way of life, something you swear to and would potentially, say like, this is the best gun ever, and you would put your kid's life on the line, kind of shit, all in one thing.
Well, I wouldn't say any one gun is the best, because it's in the eye of the beholder. But I can give an informed decision on, hey, this is the route I would go.
100%.
So I get what you're saying.
Yeah, 100%. Like, it is you.
Oh my god, I just found my little rubber wedding band. Sorry, that was random, but I have been searching for this thing for so long, and I just found this random, like, Temu Gunpla bag, and it was like wrapped up in it somehow.
Ooh, piece of candy. All right.
Definitely piece of candy moment. So, man, I need to clean up my desk, so I grabbed that, and next thing you know, I'm finding my wedding band. Oh.
Hey, buddy, what's up?
I did not realize it's 11:30. I'm gonna have to be up again early. Shit. At least I don't have to do tomorrow morning, so nap time.
Nap time, daytime.
You know, when we were kids, we never wanted to go to sleep. We never wanted to take naps. The older you get, the more you want to nap.
The older I get, the more I relate to Red Foreman and the Joker.
I mean,
I'm
you're
starting to
not
feel like
wrong.
Anna.
Well, I mean, in all fairness here, right? Red Foreman's motto, or at least life motto, is a
Foot
beer
in
in
it,
everyone's hand,
and a foot in
and a
every
everyone's
ass. Yep.
Yep.
It's a beautiful life.
It makes sense. It's simple, but it's poetic.
The real American and Canadian dream anybody can get behind.
Well, they were in Wisconsin, so it was getting close enough.
It was definitely close enough being in Wisconsin.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Good lord.
Oh man. But you know, I'm officially in my life where like I'm waking up at like 5:30 every morning now for work, and I'm losing my mind at it. So whenever it's the weekend, I just sleep in. And for me, it's weird because everyone's like, "What's your sleeping time?" I'm like, 9:30.
That's
10?
sleeping in?
Yeah.
That is definitely sleeping in for me because I'm still waking up at 5:30 every morning.
Thankfully, I wasn't in forever, so I was able to get my schedule adjusted pretty quick.
I'm just going to keep my mouth shut. What time I roll out of bed?
I was in for 9 years.
Yeah. I don't care what anyone says. There is no feasible reason to ever be waking up before even 6:30 in the morning reasonably. Because
Unless you have to work.
Yeah, that's true. But I also think like a morning shift to start at like 8 or 9 a.m. realistically. It's normal. It's functional.
I mean, granted, I have to be up at 5:30 so I can make my pot of coffee, so I can have my coffee in the morning, so I'm not an absolute asshole to take my kid to school and to take my wife to work because my wife can't drive currently.
That's fair.
And you don't want to deal with me with no caffeine.
Caffeine? Yeah, no, I don't blame you.
See me with my coffee? It's very... Not right now. Do not talk to me. It's very fuck off.
I sent you that TikTok, all right?
I sent Dobbs the TikTok too.
Like we all know him or something.
See, I was that. I'm not gonna say I was I really don't consider a corporal a non-commissioned officer.
What are they, E4?
Yeah, it's just a glorified specialist. You have all the responsibilities of an E5 with none of the pay.
Yeah, you are E4, but in the most like loose way possible.
Yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong. I was the Don at one point. I know that Grinding has heard of the E4 Mafia.
Where do you think I got the idea for the Gunpla Mafia?
Yeah. See, I was a Don. I was...
Oh. You know what?
I was a specialist, and then they were like, yeah, by the way, congratulations on passing the board. Here's your corporal. And I'm like, fuck.
You know, I just realized? I just realized that the E4 Mafia is effectively a shit ton of Leos.
Yep. One. No. No.
You know, yeah. Think about it, right? Because they're all standard issue. They can all do the thing that's required of them. But none of them are special enough to justify the board. And then and of course, like the head of the E4 Mafia is like the red one, right? But that's like very, very, very few. All right.
See, like I said, I was the Don. I was a 7-year specialist because I got out of the Army for 7 months, came back in with a new MOS, had to prove myself to my new leadership. So you see where that's going.
Yeah.
So I ended up being a 7-year specialist and finally getting corporal because my first sergeant was like, he's going to the board, even though my section sergeant was like, he's not ready. And he's like, no, he's going to the board. He doesn't have a say. You don't have a say. Big Army is saying that he's going.
I love when they get involved.
I went to the board. I passed with flying colors. They're like, congratulations, corporal. And I'm like, oh, what? Sit there gagging because I know what that entails. I had already been a corporal once before.
Accidentally made yourself important?
No, I didn't make myself important. I made myself the bitch boy of the NCO world.
Fair enough.
Yep. Until you hit Master Corporal, at least.
Oh, it's not even Master Corporal. It's literally E1, Private Second Class, Private First Class, Specialist / Corporal, Sergeant, Staff Sergeant, Sergeant First Class, Master Sergeant First Sergeant, Command or Sergeant Major, and Command Sergeant Major.
God. Not that my Canadian military ranking system was fucked.
I mean, that's actually pretty simple because in the Army you have to hit ranks at a certain point in time, otherwise you get what's called RCP, which is retention control. So it's essentially with the RCP, it's a shit or get off the pot moment, Dobbs.
I say unless you have the fortune of being in the National Guard, then you can pretty much do whatever.
Yeah, they don't have. Well, I mean, they do have an RCP, but it is much further out.
Yeah.
All right, boys. My personal way of life, as I've been learning, is that I stay up for as long, at least on Discord, as my headphones have power, and they just died. So
have yourself a good night, sirs.
Yep.
I
will talk to you guys later. And Casey, if you want one of those shiny Zosians, I'd be willing to make a trade. Just gotta make it worth my time.
I gotta find something that's actually worth your time because I really don't have any good shinies.
Well, you never know. So, and plus, I still have them anyway.
From what I can tell in my home right now, the shinies that I've got are genned.
15.
Yeah, I feel that. But hey, it is what it is.
Yeah, so.
All right. Well, I'll talk to you guys later, all right?
Later, homie.
Later.
Easy. Where am I out?
Yeah, I think you have to hit 5 and a max of 8 years. I think it's 6 and a max of 13. Only reason I went as an E4 was because of my med board.
I'd say as long as my dad was there by the time he got out, I'm pretty sure it was like whatever by the time you're dirt. So.
Yeah.
Because they had to force him out. He didn't even want to leave when they told him he needed to go.
Yeah, they changed that real quick right about the time I came in. I came in 2011. We actually had no, that staff sergeant actually got to retire. Yeah, he got to retire.
Yeah.
He was in like 22 years, and he got grandfathered in because he had already re-enlisted indefinitely.
They do love those indefinite reenlistments, don't they?
Yeah. I know we called him Mom because he was our shop foreman, and it was just a running joke. He absolutely hated it. He was a staff
That's how it
sergeant,
always works.
and he had 20 years, when I was there, he had 16 years. 17. By the time they went back to Korea for the second time while I was at Fort Stewart, he had just hit his 17-year mark, and at 18
Actually,
years
you
he
know
dropped his retirement packet.
Folks, I think we're just gonna call it a night here. My back is starting to hurt.
He
I've been
also
hunched
got put
over
on the list for
on
70.
the
It's like,
bike
I
all
need
day
to get to
today.
7 before
Plus,
I
these
retire.
fumes are really starting to get to me. We're gonna jump back into this tomorrow,
Fair.
first thing.
His shoulder and knee were
Probably
completely
go for
done.
a quick
Like
rip
that
on the
guy,
bike before we go live. If not, we'll just go live first
he
thing in the
had burn
morning.
spurs
Either
removed
way,
from his shoulder,
thanks
and
for
he
hanging
couldn't
out,
lift
guys.
his shoulder
We'll
above
catch up
his-
with
or
you
his
all
arm above his head.
tomorrow morning. Ciao.
I had to go
Yeah,
in and do so much reconstruction on that shoulder. It was bad.